Now there is a complete chaos in the administration of the MIC, not only at the national level, but also at the branch levels, divisional congress, as well as the state liaison committee due to untrue allegations and misinformation about the election of the MIC, together with unlawful and invalid directives from the ROS, Registrar of Societies, in their letters, which I have explained why they are unlawful and invalid in the press statement. Firstly, ROS has issued purported findings and recommendations by letter dated 5th December 2014 to MIC in relation to the allegations made by certain quarters after the elections for the Vice President, the Central Working Committee members. There is no provision in the Societies Act 1966 for ROS to make such a finding. ROS cannot make such a finding. Leaving aside the various complainants to the ROS, the Deputy President, one of the Vice Presidents, and others who had actually won the 2013 elections started using or rather abusing the issue with ROS to portray as though there's a crisis in the MIC leadership, and I was singled out as being responsible. We had immediately appointed lawyers on the advice of lawyers. We have issued a letter dated 24th December 2014 seeking clarifications and raised certain issues with the ROS. ROS replied by their letter dated 31st December 2014, and for the first time issuing a purported notice under Section 16(1) of the Societies Act 1966. However, ROS did not give the proper notice as required under Section 16(1) of the Societies Act 1966 for MIC to provide evidence to the proper office bearers in the MIC. MIC on 14th January 2015 lodged an appeal to the Minister of Home Affairs pursuant to the provisions of Societies Act 1966. All this while, those individuals making all sorts of untrue allegations and giving misinformation to the media and the public, portraying that the MIC is in crisis. Due to this misconception, the Prime Minister intervened in an attempt to resolve the issues, which I welcomed open-heartedly. At the meeting held on 4th February 2015, with the Prime Minister and others, it was agreed that fresh elections be conducted for all positions in the MIC as a way to resolve issues related to elections in 2013. I had immediately written to the ROS agreeing for fresh elections and proposed reasonable dates for elections and composition of the interim CWC members. Once again, ROS letter dated 6th February 2015 wrote that the new complainants have been received, and it was appalling that ROS even conducted such complaints made after more than 1 year, after 1 year after the elections. ROS also decided to conclude that allegations are valid without giving any opportunity whatsoever to the MIC to explain or clarify the position. ROS in the same letter held that all elections in the general meeting of the MIC 2013 are null and void. Including my position as president, ROS had no powers whatsoever under the Societies Act to make such a finding. ROS cannot in any way nullify my election as party president. I was elected unopposed in 2013. All branch members, more than 3,700, they supported me. 96% supported me. So I was elected unopposed as party president. So the most important thing now is ROS is now telling me to go for 2009 as an acting president. Mana boleh?
Joke of the year.
Yeah, 2009 as an acting president. Huh? I was elected unopposed as party president in 2013. I cannot go back 2009 as an acting president.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. It is too good to be a coincidence that the directives of the ROS for the 2009 elected CWC members to form the interim CWC. You see? It's exactly the same as what was decided in the illegal meeting held by the Deputy President on the 24th of January 2015 and widely publicized in the media. You see? Yesterday, certain individuals, unlawfully with the assistance of ROS, where 4 officers from the ROS were present, broke open the CWC room. Broke open the CWC room at the MIC headquarters and conducted an illegal meeting of the purported interim CWC, despite being put on notice that such a meeting is illegal. That such a meeting is illegal, null and void. With the consistent conduct of the ROS has set out against the provisions of the MIC Constitution and the Societies Act 1966, I am left with no choice but to question the independence and impartiality of the ROS in dealing with the election issues of the MIC. I propose fresh elections as a way to resolve the issues with ROS. I tried to compromise with ROS as much as possible with respect to the intervention by the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Ministry of Home Affairs, and Barisan National Secretary General Tunku Adnan. However, the continuous unlawful conduct of ROS makes it impossible to resolve issues amicably with the ROS. In the circumstances, I am left with no choice. And then for MIC to obtain justice from the courts against the grave injustice being inflicted by the government departments such as ROS with blatant disregard to the law. Unless ROS withdraws all letters, including letters dated 5th December 2014, 31st December 2014, and 6th February 2015 immediately, in any event on or before close of business on Monday, 16th February 2015, and accept the proposals as stated in my letter 5th February 2015 for immediate and amicable solution. This unlawful prejudicial conduct of ROS must stop immediately. Thank you very much.
We have made it very clear yesterday also that we are not happy with ROS.
Yeah.
And I think they are contravening all the constitutions of MIC and also the Societies Act. And we are left with no other choice.
This never happens in any other party, including the DAP.
First time.
I think the President has actually proposed for fresh elections.
Not re-election.
He has put up the proposal as to the composition without undermining his position as the President of the party. But when there is somebody who is trying to undermine his position as the President of the party, we are not going to compromise on that. We want to follow the Constitution of MIC and the Societies Act. That we are very clear.
If you have agreed to fresh elections, then why have you been quiet all this while? Why only today you're saying that you want to take action against
No, we will take action.
Why only now?
No, this is not now. This is immediate. We are going to go.
We have not been quiet. Actually, we have respected ROS. We have followed the law. There are numerous letters written by the President on advice of lawyers, and we have given them. But so far, we have not got any response from ROS. And in fact, all the directives that are issued by them seem one-sided. And more than that, contravenes the Constitution and the provisions of our Constitution. So that's why we have to resort to it as a last resort. We thought we can resolve it at various levels, and by discussion, and also by engaging ROS. So that's the problem.
So does Sri Najib know that you are going to take action?
Of course.
They will take legal action.
So does Sri Najib knows about it?
There's no other way.
No other way.
No other way.
Talking to the Home Minister before going to the court.
No. We will go to the courts.
You see, the thing is this. It was in fact the President who have actually proposed this as a method of resolving the problem.
Yeah.
He proposed for a fresh election and is willing to offer himself to say, okay, have a fresh election for him as well.
Yeah.
But subsequent directive of ROS and statements issued by ROS really contravenes our constitution.
Dia mau saya balik ke acting president tahun 2009.
You see, we have followed the latest directive of ROS. However, there were some statements made during a press conference by the DG of ROS, and some of them are using that as a clause. We are bound by the four corners of the law and the directive given. So we followed that. So ROS cannot keep on shifting the goalposts.
I'll give you one example. In the press conference, the DG has said an elected member, if he resigns or if he dies, can be replaced. But if an appointed person can only be done with the consensus of the Central Working Committee. Let me tell you, this is an affront to common sense. Not even bringing in legal sense. Even common sense will tell you a person who is elected, if he dies or he resigns, must only be re-elected. But a person who is appointed, if he vacates, or the person who has appointed him has the power to replace him with anybody. This is common sense. Even that common sense doesn't prevail. What kind of justice can we seek from them? இல்லை நாங்கள் என்ன செஞ்சோன்னாக்கா, அதாவது இந்த பிரச்சனையை தீர்க்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு முடிவாக நாங்கள் ROS ப்ரப்போஸ் பண்ணது. பரவாயில்ல, 2019 வேண்டாம், 2013 வேண்டாம், மறு தேர்தலில் வந்து நம்ம நடத்துவோம்னு சொல்லி தேசிய தலைவர் அவர்கள் வந்து எழுதியிருக்கு. மறு தேர்தல், அதாவது ஃப்ரெஷ் எலெக்ஷன்.
We don't go back to 2009.
Okay, we wanted to have a fresh election as a resolution. அதாவது ஒரு தீர்வு காண்பதற்காக சட்டப்படி நம்ம செய்யலை. அதாவது சமரசமாக ஒரு எல்லாரும் பரவாயில்ல, கெட் ஃப்ரெஷ் மெண்டேட். பட் அதற்கும் அவர்கள் வந்து ஒத்துழைக்காமல் வந்து இல்லீகலாக நடத்தும் போது நமக்கு என்ன வழி இருக்கின்றது? ROS நம்பிக்கை தரமான ஒரு அரசாங்க இலாக்கா வந்து நடுத்தரமாக நடத்துக்கு ஒரு பாரபட்சமாக இருக்கும்போது நமக்கு வேற வழி தெரியலை இனிமேல் வந்து.
You see, the thing is this. We have reluctantly agreed to the 2009 as a possible, even that we didn't agree, but we thought, okay, for the sake of moving forward, we'll compromise on that. But where does it say, how did ROS interpret the constitution and say that, look, he has got no powers to appoint the 9 appointed CWC, he has got no power to appoint the SecGen, information and TG. How can a president run a party when his hands are tied behind his back like that? Based on what provisions of the law is ROS giving that such a directive? So they have made the whole thing inoperable.
This is our constitutional power. You know, not the power of the ROS.